afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Josh Guillory Show. I am your grateful host. Head in studio with me, Q Magic Money Man. What's up, Q?
A beautiful day.
Yeah, you dang right it is. It's a beautiful day on a whole bunch of levels, guys. This segment brought to you by my friends over there at SeaSafe, SEA, just like the ocean. Guys, we're broadcasting live on Rumble. That's real, Sha. You win. Yeah, this episode may need a viewer discretion advised for blood pressure. You ain't kidding, especially when we get to topic 3. Clintons again? Oh, my goodness. Guys, check us out at rumble.com. You can also go to my X page at Josh Giller USA. Go to rumble.com and follow us on the Josh Giller Show. All right. So, Minneapolis. Back again? All right now, my folks up there in Minnesota. Because, you know, facts still matter. All right, earlier this week, remember we talked about an ICE agent that was ambushed during a traffic stop. Well, 3 men had jumped in, snow shovels, broom handles, like coordinated attack. You had one and the other ones come in. DHS, Department of Homeland Security, is calling it what it was, in their opinion, which is attempted murder of a federal officer. Hey, man, jumped out with some deadly weapons. Looked coordinated. It felt coordinated if you watch it or if you cover it. Now, we know who the attackers are or were. By now, if you're following this, all 3, ... shocker, shocker, illegal immigrants from Venezuela. All 3, another shocker, were released into the country under the Biden-era policies. And all 3 should not have been there. No, none of them should be here. Literally, it is illegal. And what a slap in the face to all the people that are following the rules and doing it safely. To follow the science, guys. I thought y'all like vaccines and stuff. How come? See, we should have just told them it was COVID and they would have been cool. You know? Can't come here because of COVID. Follow the science. We got as much science as you had, probably. All right. So we know that. Now, one of them had already been arrested before. Gave false names to police. Minnesota released him before ICE could even lodge a detainer. That is state actions directly violating federal law. Directly violating federal law. Another guy skipped his immigration hearing. He was ordered removed. Another was labeled a non-enforcement priority. These are all during President Biden's 4 years. This culture. And it's not like these are opinions, by the way. Those are government decisions. We're just talking about what our government choices. And this matters. I mean, we're watching now the result of that policy. It's not a freak accident. I mean, think about this. Let's just think about it. When federal agents enforce the law and local governments refuse to cooperate, what else do we expect to happen than what we are seeing happening? Chaos replaces order. Officers getting attacked. And then politicians acting shocked. Like this wasn't a destiny. The ICE agent fired one defensive shot after being beaten and rushed by 3 men. He lived. That matters too. The officer lived because he defended himself. And now Minneapolis is on fire politically. Don't say it too loud, though. Them tires, they get excited. See? Protests, riots, you know, the usual. How we communicate. Boy, go to Iran with that stuff. You know, crowds blocking federal officers from doing their jobs, which are hard enough already. Local leaders acting like this is someone else's problem, man. This is in your front yard. And the people that are coming to clean up the mess, whose duty it is to clean up the mess, you're infringing on. You're making it harder. Local leaders up there, you're making it harder for these guys to protect your communities. I mean, immigration enforcement is federal law. It is one of the few powers that crystal clear. So we don't get to selectively ignore it. And then all of a sudden, oh, we're going to complain when the federal government shows up to do the job you refuse to do. And tone, you know, I hear talk about tone. What we're talking about is responsibility. And you got some folks ignoring it. All over bad politics too. It doesn't help you politically. It's bad policy. It doesn't help anybody from a policy standpoint. It does not protect anyone. It's not like these three little role models didn't get caught before, and it wasn't like they weren't doing other things. And as Bill Clinton reminds us in the 90s, as he said, it doesn't matter if they come here and do a crime or anything like that, because crossing the border is a crime. Minnesota didn't just fail here, like in this particular incident. They didn't fail at immigration. What we're seeing on our televisions and what we're reading about this place, they have failed at basic governance. Basic. And man, all right, Mayor up there. Okay, now you can play your little games, because when cities refuse to maintain order, they invite the next step. And that's where this goes next. And that's not good. You know, look, man, federal officers doing their job, you know, when those guys are attacked and states won't control their streets, the president actually does have options. And we're going to talk about one. Actually brings us to our next issue. Matter of fact, we'll take a little break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about those options, because the president does have clear options. And let's talk about that, Q, when we get back. Stick around. Won't be too long. Right there off of I-49 between Karen Crow and Lafayette, and also the new location in Broussard. You can't go wrong with Préjean's, seafood, salad, steak, Cajun cuisine, and much more. Go visit my friends over there at Préjean's.
This is Food Reform. Glenn's Towing and Recovery can tow any vehicle from the smallest smart car to a giant 18-wheeler. Glenn's Towing and Recovery, with over 60 years of combined towing experience, you can count on Glenn's Towing and Recovery. Glenn's is easy to get a hold of. 989-0510. That's 989, a nickel and a dime.
989, a nickel and a dime.
Oh, Shaq. Glenn's Towing and Recovery. Now with their second location in Henderson and online at glenstowingservice.net.
For over 45 years, C-Safe has built the backbone of the toughest structures out there, with fiberglass reinforced plastic pultrusion and custom structural fabrication that outperform steel, wood, and aluminum. Their FRP products are engineered to resist corrosion, reduce maintenance, and outlast the competition in the harshest environments, from offshore platforms to wastewater treatment plants and everywhere in between. There's a reason engineers have trusted C-Safe for superior strength and fabrication, because they're built to outperform. not just compete. Precision built, performance proven, trusted by engineers, architects, and contractors nationwide. When strength matters, when custom matters, when failure is not an option, C-Safe delivers. C-Safe, built to outperform, built to last, built for extremes, trusted for decades. Visit csafe.com. That's SCA, like the ocean, safe.com, and see what 45 years of leadership looks like.
These guys operate in, we're talking about the Mideast.
This is the story of the one.
In such a
As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant,
you know what I mean?
she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering. So her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand,
part of a good
and each
leader, I'm
shift can run
convinced.
safely and
You gotta be
efficiently.
flexible.
Call 1-800-GRAINGER.
That's a different type of culture over there, at least what we've seen. So for them to pivot, remember, Saddam Hussein could have pivoted. Had he done that, he wouldn't have been at war with us.
True.
He would have been at war with Iran. Because Iran was not invading Iraq because they really believed, in my opinion, that they had nukes.
Absolutely.
Or at least chemical weapons. And it's not like we didn't find sarin gas and stuff. I mean, it's not like he didn't have any.
And I definitely don't want to inhale it. And nobody else does.
Kill switch. You ain't Hey, kill switch. You see this, right? You see what we're doing, right? Like we will straight up fix this. Ain't afraid. All right, guys, we have about a minute left until we go back to commercial. And thanks for this, my man.
You're welcome.
Let's get the full one. I'll lead in with it. Guys, we're going to the Presidential Authority and the Insurrection Act. That's what we're going to go into. All right. All right, Rumble, we'll be back. Give us about 45 seconds, my peeps. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show, broadcasting live from the KPEL studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. Shout out to our KLFY Plus viewing audience. I want to see you at that Rumble chat. Kill Switch, I'm with you, man. That's real chat. I got you. All right, so guys, man, when strength matters, when custom matters, when failure's not an option, my friends over there at C-Safe, man, call them C-Safe, S-E-A, just like the ocean. C-Safe FRP products are engineered to resist corrosion, reduce maintenance, outlast the competition in the harshest environments. And we know all about that. Offshore platforms, wastewater treatment plants, a whole bunch of things in between. C-Safe. Their products are American-made. They're manufactured right here in Acadiana by American workers. Go check my friends over there at C-Safe out. csafe.com, S-E-A, just like the ocean. Well, my dear friends, we talked about several things. Well, no, one major thing. Enforce the law. And if you're not going to enforce the law, at least don't get in the way of the people that are enforcing the law. And in this case, there's really only one entity that should be enforcing the law, and this is one of those rare occasions where this is a federal law, federal issue, federal law enforcement. So after the attacks that we talked about last segment, after they happened in Minneapolis, President Trump did something presidents are supposed to do. He made it very clear the federal government will protect its federal officers. That's what it should. He warned Minnesota that if the violence continues and if the state's leadership won't restore order, he is prepared to invoke the Insurrection Act. Now, that law exists for one reason: to restore order when states cannot or will not do it themselves. Uncharted waters here. I'm interested to see where that goes. Look, the law. Okay, so look what I'm talking about now. The Insurrection Act. The law exists for a big principled reason: restore law, restore order. When a state will not do it, or choose to not do it, can't do it, can't stop, won't stop. The opposite, though. But this is rarely used, and I do think the president has a duty to use it here. And I think that he understands that, and he is, and he will, and he'll go far with it, and he should on this one. He should. Just know, just like understand the moment and understand the moment. So that means the president really could, through this precedent, the president can start some precedent and really kind of like carve the rules. Like you can really go really deep here if you need to until Congress acts, or maybe work with Congress and codify. You can actually pass some things over there. I'm gonna have to talk about Joni Ernst later. Favorite little egg labeler I've ever met or didn't meet. Feel like I know her. But think about what this could do. Okay? Who determines when the order is not there? We can say common sense, and most of the time that's right. Most of the time people understand when there's law and order and when there's not. But we got a dang lawyer that can't answer Justice Alito's question of, it's me, Justice Alito's question of science, following the science, can a man have a baby? Or can a man get pregnant? So we can't just assume that common sense is there. I mean, that case is at the Supreme Court because a lower judge said, you get what I'm saying here? So we can't just assume these things here. You and I, we're not in office. Like, funny things happen in the foreign countries of Politico. I think it's a purging. I'm optimistic. I think it's about 15 years. 10, 15 years, maybe 20. Gotta self-correct. But some of the stuff that this president's doing, if we stay the course, could very much have an impact that is the likes of which you've never seen. All right. So, not theoretical here. We talked about hypos, I think, earlier in the week. Hypotheticals. Not one of those. Not a dramatic language. This is a president stating the legal tools that are available to him. Again, he's catching a lot of heat for it, as you can imagine. But when federal law enforcement is under attack, this is an option available to him when the local government just flips them the bird. I mean, you can almost argue is siding with the anti-law enforcement crowd. I mean, I think I'm being very kind in that assessment. Very loosey. Jeez. The Insurrection Act, it allows the president to federalize the National Guard. So even Minnesota, right there, we've had those discussions a lot. He could deploy those military forces, National Guard, to suppress violence. Specifically, that interferes with federal law now. And it's constitutional governance. It's not radical. Just because something's new is not radical. It's it's like when people say that's barely legal. Well, then it's legal. Or I got water's in my ditch. Well, it's good. Anywho, Mayor Jacob Frey, he's been in the news, called it unsustainable. Whoa. There's one of those words. Sustainability. So if it's unsustainable, that's bad. And you know what, Mayor? You're right. It is. But unsustainable situations do not fix themselves. They resolve when leadership steps up. And you, my dear friend, are the leader. Step it on up. I mean, imagine if the president had to come and restore order for federal agents in every city. What would that do, Mayor Frey? Might cause a little issue or two. Minnesota and Illinois are suing the federal government to stop immigration enforcement. I'm going to repeat this. Minnesota and Illinois are suing the federal government to stop something that they have what's called exclusive jurisdiction on, and which is immigration enforcement. At the same time, they are unable to control the fallout from their very own refusal to work with the federal government. You ever think about that? You ever let that sit in? It's kind of interesting to think about, because you don't get both. You don't get both. You don't get to block enforcement over here on one side, and then all of a sudden, gripe and moan when enforcement happens anyway. You're crying foul. Presidential authority exists for moments like this. It's one of the few times that we're not seeing posturing. There might be some posturing going on. Don't get me wrong. I should probably walk that back. But the policy is grounded, which is why I say not posturing. It's not being used to threaten. It's not lawfare. I mean, these guys why don't we ever talk about the lens of the officer? Why don't we talk about the lens of the family of the officer or loved ones? They don't have to have a family. What about the people that are relying on that officer, him or her, to do their job so that they could come home safely? I mean, think about how this even started. It's not the law enforcement officer that picked started the situation. And from all accounts, okay, fired a defensive shot. Got it. Sounds like a lot of restraint, or maybe he didn't have access to it, but my goodness. And 1 versus 3. Jumped. These guys, they represent the wrong folks, guys. They represent the bad guys. Folks that come in illegally and do bad things that shouldn't be here. But you don't get both. And the president has authority. And the president has authority to maintain order when order breaks down in this very, 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 very slim circumstance. This is not an act that gives broad stroke to the president. Very limited. Very, very, very limited. You know? But look, at some point, I would think, wouldn't you think, like the local, you can't stay married to those policies.
I agree. At some point, you have to look at your local economy, what your local people need, the fact your schools are closed, kids can't go to work.
Yeah. And what about the burden that it carries over to the neighborhoods? What about the burden on law enforcement that carries over to the businesses? It's a trickle. It is such a domino effect. All right, guys, look, stick around. We get back, man. My favorite part of the whole show. We're going to open up them phone lines, 232-1542, 844-766-6607. Can't wait to hear from you.
That's Real Shaz said, heavy-handed federal action usually makes unrest worse even when it's legal. That's an interesting point, and it's evolved over time. But I think the last time the act was used was in '92, the year I was born, actually, after the Rodney King tape leaked of police brutality. And it wasn't until federal troops arrived in the city that the unrest was put down. And unfortunately, it did end up having to reach that point. But at some point, elected leaders have to do something to secure the streets. It's the basic tenets of government. Public safety, infrastructure, and that's the lead. But I agree, going too far would likely push more unrest. Not going far enough will also push more unrest.
You ain't kidding.
But we'll be back in about 3 minutes. Stay tuned.
TikTok, we're coming back in about a minute and a half. My people, open up them phone lines. Do we have it where they can hear yet?
I'm going to try something today.
What you going to try?
I'm going to try reducing volume on our mics while cueing the sound of the board.
Oh, you make me nervous.
Me too. I make myself nervous. But I think I have a way to
Well, let's get a safer way.
Okay.
Let's get a safer way. It's not worth shutting down the whole streaming, whatever it's called, OBT.
That is a good point.
But I like it. And remember, my levels, caller levels, you know, because they'll be.
I have yours higher than the callers, and the callers lower.
Okay. They come across higher on the. You're good. They just come across higher on the show, so that equalizes it. So it's good. You're good. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show, broadcasting live from the KPEL studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. Also broadcasting live on Rumble. Let me see you over there at rumble.com, rumble.com. Look up the Josh Guillory Show. Give us a little chat, man. Our people are rocking over there. Kill Switch. That's Real Shy. All our folks. Kill Switch. Yep, again, all the people. I read them twice. That's okay. Shout out to KLFY Plus viewing audience as well. This segment's brought to you by my friends over there at Stan's Auto, man. Go check them out. Phone lines are open, 232-1542, 844-766-6607. Let's go to Renee. What's up, Renee? Bring the heat, baby.
I want to say I'm a white man, and I like everybody, but it seems like it's the flavor of the left to want to do us harm. And when I look at the History Channel, how the Germans try to take the Slavs and the Jews off this planet, how the Soviets try to take the Ukrainians off this planet, how the Chinese try to take the Uyghurs off this planet, and I look at the useful idiots trying to instigate a communist revolution, I don't give a damn about that woman. I'm sorry. I'm thinking about myself being in a concentration camp, all my friends and stuff, or maybe somebody coming over from another country eating my dogs because they don't mind eating dogs. That's how I feel about it. I'm thinking about the future. These people are stupid, don't care about how much harm they're going to bring us with a communist revolution. It never worked anywhere in the world. The Germans had a different scam. They still were socialists like the communists, and they were damn well dangerous too.
Oh, just a little. Just a little. Thank you, Renee. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Let's go to Buck. Buck, what's happening, Buck?
Hey, guys.
What's happening, brother?
I got just two things real quick. One, I'm sure the president can use the same authority that Biden and them used to go and kick down the doors and arrest those people that were just standing outside the Capitol protesting with their signs peacefully. You know, they found a way to arrest them for insurrection. So I'm sure the president could use that same authority. And secondly, I just don't understand this mass hysteria. You know, you got people that doctors that can't tell you whether or not a man can get pregnant, and these liberals are making videos of themselves crying, saying that they're scared they could be jerked out of their house by ICE, or that they could be shot in the face going to the grocery store. And when you and I look at what happened in that one instance, you can clearly see her hitting the agent with her car as he fired upon her. Now, how it turns into, you know, all these media outlets and all the people on the ground, how it turns into, I'm going to get shot by ICE going to the grocery store, I just don't understand, you know. Well, I kind of do on, you know, how
you
these
understand
people,
it.
you know, how they're indoctrinated by, you know, the different rhetoric or everything, but you know, it's just, we're at a point where it's getting rough to, you know, go through all this and make heads or tails of how to try to talk to the other side. Because
way to go. Hey, Buck, way to go, man. Great points, great points. We got to move on, but wonderful job. All right, let's go to Warren. What's up, Warren? Bring the heat.
Well, you know, it's just insanity that people are getting killed and willing to hurt ICE agents, you know, but I hate to see people dying for such stupidity, but, you know, it's okay to get those kind of people out of the gene pool. You know, it's not going to hurt in the long run. And Jeff Landry, there's a big investigation over there in Greenland. They want to know who invited him to that dog sled event. It's a true story. You know, apparently they know him, you know, like I was saying the other day, if you're going to go to a country to steal all their wealth, who better than Jeff Landry? I wonder who he's bringing with him. Thank you, Josh.
Warren. Let's go to Mr. Bobby. Mr. Bobby, what's happening?
He's bringing Edwin Edwards with him. Come out the grave. Hey, you know what? If you look at the history of World War II, a little old island like Japan killed millions of Chinese, and who saved their butts? Us. Of course, they did help us build a lot of stuff, so we got that holding card against them. Here's another thing. That Russian sub that was cruising around in the Venezuela area, it took off like a dog with no tail, left the scene when they saw the fleet out there, destroyers and two flat tops.
Well,
yeah, you saw that?
I didn't see that, but I will tell you this. I believe it. I believe it. Hey, thanks.
Yeah, Russians, big bad people. I'm out.
Thanks, Mr. Bobby. Appreciate you. Oh, man. So, you know, all of this in Minnesota, this whole Insurrection Act that we're talking about, and that's basically an act that allows the president to protect federal law enforcement officers when a local community or state either can't or refuses or just will not protect its own or protect these federal agents, federal officers, then the president can do so. And there's options available to him to include activating the National Guard and using that to restore order. Should be rare, is rare, but this is one of those rare occasions where it is very strictly tailored to the president. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. Caller, you are live on the Josh Guillory Show. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Is this me?
That's you.
Okay, hey, this is your buddy Randall from Jennings.
Hey, what's up, Randall? Yes.
That's us. First of all, Happy New Year to everybody. I'll be real quick with this. I see that Kamala Harris bought her an $8.2 million beachfront home in California. And I remember all her word salad. She said her life was based on living like us common folks. So, Josh, you have an $8.2 million house on the Pacific Ocean?
Nope, I don't. I sure don't. Doggone it, working on it, I guess. Yeah, she's just one of us.
I got a $5 million house, but not 8 points. Oh boy, it's just crazy. Didn't she blow like $2 billion?
Oh my gosh! In like 3 months, 2 months, or whatever it was over $1 billion, and still has some IOUs. I think that's crazy.
Yeah, and then she goes buys an $8 million house.
Oh no!
That's good being a Democrat. Okay, y'all have a blessed day.
Thanks, brother. Thank you. That's that's making you think. I kid. All right, guys. Look, we'll take a tiny little break. When we get back, we're gonna move topics here. We'll talk. Matter of fact, let's talk about Clinton. We'll talk about the Clintons. We have to. Our friends at the bank, Rain State Bank. Man, this one's for you.
Now, Siva Sur, that oceanfront property in Arizona, does it come with sand?
Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show, broadcasting live from the KPEL studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. Also broadcasting live on rumble.com. Go check us out. You can go to my X page as well, at Josh Guillory USA. All right, let's go to the Clintons. I see I gave you the phone line. You're a simple soldier. I love that. Me too.
I was instantly looking.
You were ready, man.
And I was confused.
I like it, though. It's all right, though. You were on your feet, man. I love that. You got me sharp. All right, so let's talk about subpoenas. Oof. This week, you may recall, Hillary Clinton defied a congressional subpoena. She skipped her deposition in the House Oversight Committee's Epstein investigation. I wonder why. What? You mean the Clintons are tied to the Epsteins?
I think they may have...
Or the Epstein?
May have taken a plane trip or a boat ride or...
What? Wow. So the day before, former President Bill Clinton did the same thing. 5 months of negotiations, lawyers going back and forth, Congress issuing lawful subpoenas, and the Clintons simply said no. All right. Again, what would happen if it were you or I? If we said, no, not going. No way. Now, the House Oversight Committee is prepared to vote on holding both of them in contempt of Congress. Now, a subpoena, here's the thing, and I think this is what folks are trying to maybe grapple with a little bit. A subpoena is not a suggestion. That's what I don't understand. Both are lawyers. It is a lawful command. Ordinary citizens defy subpoenas, and we face consequences. Lawyers know this. They're both lawyers. Judges know this. Anyone who has been drugged into court knows this. So the Clintons argue the subpoenas are invalid. Congress disagrees. And that dispute is settled through compliance, testimony, and a whole bunch of other things. Legal process. Not by ignoring the order entirely. I mean, come on. This investigation centers on Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. Maxwell serving a 20-year sentence for sex trafficking. Congress wants testimony. They want answers. I mean, in part, that is their job. I would love to balance the budget and do other things, but I mean, you know, this is something. This is something for sure. But you also don't see former presidents and former secretaries of state getting subpoenaed. But you don't see them ignore them either. I mean, when Donald Trump was subpoenaed, compliance was demanded. You remember that? Contempt was threatened. Charges followed. Media applauded. Most, not all. Not all. Now we have two powerful Democrats refusing to show up. Suddenly we're told it's complicated. Remember, that's another, boy, I'm throwing them buzzwords out today. It's complicated. No, it's complicated. It's a subpoena. Show up here at this time, this location. But suddenly it's political. Suddenly restraint is fashionable. When Trump did it, contempt, above the law, orange man bad. But when the Clintons do it, oh gosh, as long as they're not running against no drama Obama, it's the Clintons. Come on. Restraint. That's fashionable. Man, the law either applies evenly or it just doesn't. Holding someone accountable is far from revenge. In this case, this is not political revenge. It's not, any of this lawfare. This is, I hope it's not. I hope it's not. I think they could have gotten away with the depositions, but they didn't comply at all. They didn't go, but we don't know. But I know ignoring the subpoena like that, that's probably not the best route to do it. I'm saying it's just the way that you just totally ignored them. File something, do something, but you just, because at the end of the day, we're talking about an overall system that should work the same for everyone. It's not a system designed for personalities or a system designed to favor one group over the other. It's not designed for that. It just feels that way. And it feels that way because we do have certain folks that do seem to have different rules that apply to them. I'm going to stop throwing these poor ladies at the bank under. I'll leave names out to defend the innocent. But that's what they were reacted to. And they weren't wrong. They weren't wrong. People are tired of two systems. One for the connected, because I said Democrats. It could easily be some Republicans in there. The elite is bipartisan. One for the connected, one for everyone else. Like it or leave it. The fix isn't rage, though. It's follow through. We got to do it. Enforce the law. Apply it evenly. I don't know where this is going to go, though. The Clinton. I know we're running out of time. What you got?
Well, I remember back when President Trump was out of office, and the Bidens wanted some files.
Okay.
And they sent armed agents to President Trump's house.
Yes.
And had him search it.
I do recall that.
I think they should send agents to collect the Clintons and have them appear before Congress. To me, that is fair.
Just send the Maduro crew out there. Hey, boys, it's been a couple weeks.
They could even have the same soundtrack.
And we talked about this yesterday, maybe on break. If Diddy and Maduro are in the same prison, which we think they are, you almost have to let them talk for at least five minutes.
Absolutely.
You just need to do that. Pay-per-views to go to charity. Oh, no. All right, guys, stick around. We get back. Oh, we got the next hour. It's going to be fun. Just a tiny little break. We'll be right back. Q, don't go anywhere. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. All right, welcome to hour number 2 of the Josh Guillory Show, broadcasting live from the KPEL studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. We are also broadcasting live on Rumble, rumble.com. Man, Rumble, like Rumble in the Jungle. Look up the show, The Josh Guillory Show. All right, guys, you can also check us up at X, at Josh Guillory USA, and shout out to our KLFY Plus viewing audience. This segment brought to you by our friends over there at Dino's, man. 3 locations, Collie Saloon, Bertrand, and in Henderson. Let's go to spending. See Vasir, by the way. Yeah, complicated. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying in the break. Complicated on these subpoenas. It's where you show up. But let's go to some other silliness. Some spending. You guys understand. We all understand what it means and how to not do it. Washington just pushed a $174 billion spending package through the Senate. It cleared with broad bipartisan support. That tells you exactly what's going on. Nobody wants another shutdown, of course. Everybody knows the clock is real this time. We saw what happened last time. It's what you do with it. It could be a wonderful thing. There were so many institutions or so many functions. Because we can go down the rabbit hole. There were so many things, so many people that have jobs and so many programs that are in the federal level that came to a screeching halt, and nobody felt it. Nobody knew it. I think people, Democrat and Republican, can at least agree on cutting that. I bet you we could find $174 billion worth of cuts in $4 trillion.
I think I know someone who may have.
The egg labeler herself, Senator Joni Ernst from Iowa. She found $2.1 trillion during the shutdown. Got me all excited. I was her biggest. I've wanted her to run for vice president when J.D. Vance did. Can't have 2 Midwesterners. I'm kidding. But really, drop the bill on Capitol Hill, Joni. Talking all that noise. 175. How about this, Senator? Can we just drop a bill of the $2.1 trillion on 174? Can you just pull 174 from it? So the package, it funds commerce, justice, energy department, water. Not the department, just energy initiative. Sorry, water, interior, environmental agencies. It already passed the House. 6 funding bills are now on President Trump's desk. Congress needs 12 to fully fund the government. And the deadline, 16 days away, January 30th. So that's not too far. It's a-coming. A continued resolution is a-coming. At least for DHS. And the reason, probably obvious. Immigration enforcement now sits at the center of everything, it seems like. Democrats want restrictions. Democrats on Capitol Hill, not necessarily real people that are Democrats. Democrats want restrictions on ICE agents after the Minneapolis shooting. Yeah, that's what you need. Yeah, that's a great way to go approach a situation. Republicans aren't moving an inch, and they shouldn't on that one. That fight is unresolved. And everyone in Washington knows it won't magically resolve in 2 weeks. It could. Everybody outside of Washington seems to know it could. Everybody inside of Washington seems to say it's complicated. I don't know. It's complicated. Budgeting. Government budgeting is so complicated. Man, a 10th grader could do it. What I find interesting is how honest leadership suddenly becomes when consequences start walking in. Senate Majority Leader John Thune, he admitted DHS would be the hardest bill to finish. And it's a mind-boggler. If you think about it from a policy standpoint, it's really, really interesting. I really liked what President Clinton was talking about on immigration in the 90s. I'm just saying. Man sounded like a MAGA guy. Senate Democrats admitted they don't want a year-long CR. They say that doesn't help them. Posturing fades fast when paychecks and agencies are on the line, as we saw last time. The problem is agencies should be on the line right now, and we're not doing anything about it. We could fix the problems if we want to. We choose not to. And I don't understand. Everybody listening, everybody watching understands. You can't spend more than you have, not for that long. We also understand not all debt is bad debt. Got it? But, in the private sector over here, we have these things, debt to income. Well, the country has debt to GDP, and it's not healthy right now. And it could be. It could be. Because my wonderful party, the grand old party that it is, has power. But we're choosing not to do anything with it. We can cut spending if we want to. It's not that we can't. We can. We choose not to. And if they say that we can't, they either don't know or they're lying. Democrats have shown us the way. Budget reconciliation. You don't even need the 60 votes. And even if you did, you have the power. Change the rules. The rules are so subjective, it's crazy. I used to have so much regard for the legislative rules until I've realized how weak they are and how flaky they are and how subjective they are and how they can subjectively and selectively be imposed on the very body that creates them. So my appreciation of the rules that have never been consistent or not in the last 20, 30 years, I don't care. What I respect is the will of a majority of the American people who have sent a majority in the House and the Senate from the Republican Party who seem to have all the ideas when we were running, and we seem to have forgotten that we're in charge. And we may not be after the midterms later this year. We could be fixing all this. And if we can't, tell us why. But don't say the 60 votes, because that's not why. That's not why. Show me in the Constitution where it says 60 votes. Tell me. Well, on this. I don't think on anything. Jeez. But very interesting. And of course, Chuck, hide your burgers with cheese on it, Schumer. Rush to claim victory. Did you see that? We're winning. Saying, Democrats, we blocked Trump's cuts. We blocked Trump's, say it with me. And he probably like an awkward, we did it. Win, holding hands with Nancy Pelosi in an awkward way, I remember in 2000, Al Gore and his running mate, was it Bradley? No, it was Letterman. But Bill Bradley went on stage with him, and I feel so bad for Bill Bradley, so tall, and they're holding hands, and it's so awkward. And I just, you got to give Al Gore a little break, though. He did. That was right after he, invented the internet. So, all right, guys, stick around. When we get back, we'll talk about Senator Schumer and so much more. Stick around. All right. What's up, Rumble? Rumble.com. What's happening, all our viewers at X, at Josh Guillory USA. So I was visiting with our TikTok folks. That's this camera right here. You don't get to see all these other ones, but that's okay. You get the raw footage, man. Sometimes I bet that might be boring. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe it's more exciting than this show. You never know. But I do like keeping the cameras open because, hey, you never know. We might have something to say. I love keeping the chat open. Y'all are rocking it now. I appreciate it. Crazy things going on. I see the Clinton remark. If you were to get that subpoena and not show up, what do you think's happening to you?
I think armed federal agents are going to show up at my house, and I'm going to possibly have the option to open the door. If I refuse, they're going to assist me. They're going to remove me from my house and present me to the Congress.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm going to hope that they don't do it the old way, the old Congress way, which was Congress actually held the person as their own prisoner instead of handing it over to the DOJ for prosecution.
Really?
Yep. They would hold him in the bottom of the Capitol.
Really?
Contempt of Congress used to be a super serious thing. And way back when, it wasn't federal marshals. It was the sergeant at arms whichever house issued the subpoena.
What?
Would send personnel to secure you and present you.
Okay. And have they ever exercised that?
I don't remember the last time, but in the 1800s, definitely.
That would have been the time.
I think as we entered the 20th century, that practice fell out of favor, and with the rise of the Justice Department, they created a statute, and they would just refer it for prosecution.
Okay, well, interestingly enough, that would have been an interesting thing about separation of powers because Congress doesn't have an executive function, and I guess nobody challenged it because the Supreme Court hadn't ruled. Now the Supreme Court doesn't have to. It's a moot thought. All right, guys, we got about 15 seconds left. We're going to go live here. Appreciate you. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show, broadcasting live from the KPEL studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. All right, let's see here. So, going back to this little topic on, Washington, $174 billion spending package, talking about a few things here. Chuck Schumer, he says victory because they stood up to Trump's cuts and they protected their priorities. That's standard Washington behavior. Claim the credit, void the blame, move on. I don't know if anybody should take credit. I mean, you just increase spending by 170 or Lord. It's so easy to fix. Just stop it. And why give in on that? Because here's the truth. Spending bills are power documents. They show you who has leverage and who doesn't. And right now, immigration enforcement is the leverage point. And I have to give the Republicans some credit, my fellow Republicans some credit here. At least we kept that in the forefront. You know, Washington debates line items. Taxpayers are finding out how much their money's disappearing everywhere. We have to be left with analyzing how in the heck they can justify all this spending and not function. I mean, it just goes into, again, a culture that Washington has that it seems to be very unique to the land of Oz over there. They know it's not their money. Now, I got to go on a little tangent again. I'm telling you, I think it's line item veto issues. I think if we bring the president line item veto, I think we fix a lot of this stuff, but we don't have that. But we have a combo that's very dangerous. We have no term limits, and we have a situation where there's no line item veto. So the president's only choice when a budgetary matter comes to him, if they ever do pass a budget, he can only sign it in full effect or veto. He can only sign it into law or veto it. Governors have line item veto. Mayors across the country, most, if not all, not all of them do, but a large part of them have line item veto on these budgetary items. Keeps things balanced. Now, what we have a Congress with no term limits, and what congressman is going to tell their other congressman no to the earmark, no to the pork? None of them, because then they won't get theirs. And it is a cycle matched with a culture. And even with the best intentions at the federal level, we have another issue with our culture, and that is big government. And it's not, big government is not just a phrase. It is, how about this? Instead of saying big government, top-heavy government. Top-heavy centralized government. There's no oversight. It's a culture. And even in good faith, someone comes with legislation, they pass this legislation to help people from the federal level. It's wonderful. And let's say it actually does. Those people retire. All we have left is the power. And believe you me, without someone in office with true discipline, that power will be used. And if it's on your side, you'll feel good for a moment. If it's on the other side, you won't feel good for a moment. But we should have no feelings at all on that regard, because that should never be a federal function. And that can be applied in so many ways. Let's go back to Minnesota. Shall we? All right. Oh, man. This is where theory meets reality, Q. Remember this. So now we did get up to the $9 billion mark. That's what federal prosecutors are estimating the fraud now. So we just talked about $174 billion. I said that right? B or yeah, it can't be with a M. Yeah, billion. So this is 9 in fraud from basically one city, but one state. $9 billion was stolen through all of those fraudulent day centers, those food programs, all the things, health clinics, all fake providers, front operations, organized theft that we paid for. Like, hey, at least we should get some lessons from the Leering Center or something. And by the way, that doesn't even, as we look at it, doesn't even look like it's paper error. It's like that's the industry. That is an industry. Senator Cornyn introduced the Stop Fraud by Somalia Act. Hey, pretty straight to the point. Now, Somalia's all caps. Is this another one? Is it another acronym?
I think it might be.
It's all, hey, it can't be an act if there's not an acronym. And it does what accountability actually looks like. So I do have to give our good Senator Cornyn, great job. This is put in legislation. I like that. It's not an executive order. You're going to codify some things that seem to be able to help a lot of folks oversee this kind of stuff. Very interested, if that is an acronym, to see what you can find out. Permanent bans, by the way. That's what this act called. I'm looking at it right here. Permanent bans from federal programs, mandatory repayment of stolen funds. You'd think that would be a kind of a no-brainer, but don't assume. Common sense ain't common over there. Criminal referrals, they're built into the act. Oh, I do like this, though. It seems to tighten up the reshuffling of names. You know, that's been a problem in the bureaucracy. No reopening under a new LLC. You can't just, shuffle here, open that, get a little second bite at the apple. So Senator Cornyn, in his bill, there's also an immigration component. Non-citizens, listen to this. Non-citizens convicted of fraud become deportable. They're barred from asylum. They're subject to detention. They're subject to removal. Now, most Americans, Democrat or Republican, I would imagine, say that aligns consequences with the conduct that we're seeing. And it's right in front of us. Every single one. And it's right in front of us in the public domain, used with public dollars. You got it? Used with public dollars. And who's ultimately suffers? We do. How many more? I think we're going to find a lot more than Minnesota. And these kind of operations, I got to tell you, these kind of operations were running rampant in the federal government. And it was before President Biden as well. It just seems there was a culture of complacency when it comes to accountability for 4 years. Every Senate Republican signed a letter demanding answers from Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. Our boy Fetterman didn't join. They didn't ask him. Oh, you got it.
I got it.
All right, what now? He's gonna tell us what what is the whole act, and then tell us the acronym.
So it is the Stop Fraud by Strengthening Oversight and More Accountability for Lying and Illegal Activity Act, a.k.a. the Somalia Act.
Okay. Well. Hey, Hey. So, I'm just saying, my friends over there, when people say that government workers have too much time on their hands, unless like AI generated that for you real quick, man, we got bigger things to do. But hey, I got it. It's a good act. But we got a little oversight showing up in the form of legislation. That could be a good thing. It could be a really good thing. Because at the end of the day, we're talking about federal funds. We're talking about your dollars, my dollars, our dollars. We work hard. And I think at some point, just like these fraudsters, they just play a numbers game, a time game. I mean, $9 billion, that's a lot of folks that are doing a lot of things simultaneously, whether they're connected or not. But, man, that's a lot of stuff going on. And they just play the numbers game. And they'll just outlast time, effort, willpower, maybe bide some time until a new administration gets in with a different culture. That could very much be it. So, look, we're going to take a tiny little break. When we get back, we'll wrap a bow on this topic, but my favorite part of the whole show, them phone lines, 232-1540, 2-844-766-6607.